Out there, Gama93 here. Welcome back to episode 30 of Building Minecraft City 3.0. And I know it's been a bit since I've been on this. Oh, and I understand though that I've been taking a bit of a break though from this because, well, I'm not gonna lie though, I've been working on some other projects and some older projects too. Like projects I started before I even started the city world a little bit. Like 3.0 to be specific.
And there we go, we just have a couple of spooky ghosts kind of floating around and doing what they do. Crimson roots and crimson fungus.
I did that already.
Dead bushes as well. Again, we probably don't want too much of this. So when it starts to look a bit too, when the colours start to bunch together a bit too much, so and it kind of mixes. That crimson root here, I might that as it is. And there is maybe even like a skeleton skull. That's kind of like good here. Maybe a zombie head over here, just in the center. Of course, you can have a zombie head popping out of the grave. That kind of like adds a nice little extra. Decorate a little skull just hidden back here as well. But moving on, decoration. So this is kind of like the front of the build. So this is kind of like this is like the opener. So this is quite done. I think that we've added a nice level of detail here. So moving on up, this is the entranceway. I just want a stone cutter and a player head. Stone cutter on the corner, player head in.
Okay, so let's get rid of the stuff I'm not going to need for like a while. Which I'm thinking it's going to be the polished deep slate stuff. Now let me just grab out the player head, the redstone dust, and the stone cutter. But yeah. It's really gonna need it for right now. So let me just grab all this stuff here.
Head in front, and if you want to make it a tad gruesome, we don't have the material on us. I want to grab it. We can use redstone dust and a little bit of red carpet. Depending on how gruesome you want to get, you can have a little bit of dust and a little bit of carpet spread about the place. So to make that look as standard or as unsevered as you like, fresh or not fresh. And in between the two rows of grey concrete, we have to add some more detail as well. So this is kind of like, you're going to want to kind of figure out what exactly you want here for yourselves, but the idea is just to have some like different, so like if we've got soul sand, then we can place Neverwort. So we want to dig out some of these blocks, we want to have some potter, we want to have some twisting vines, some twisting roots. Some Neverwort wherever you want, some crimson roots. If we build up little platforms like this, this allows us to have.
Okay. Well, first things first, I gotta see exactly like. Okay, so it looks like it is here and here. There we go. Okay. Let's stick them right there. Now he also got that stone slabs though, but do I have any stone slabs inside the chest? Yes, I do. Right here. There we go. Now I'm gonna go with the candle. Oh. But first things first, I gotta stick that there. Actually, I got a better idea. Move that to there. So that there, and then that there. Perfect.
You have candles. And we can have this in a variety of places if we want to have a couple of sets of candles. And we can also have, what else can we have? So like a dead bush as well, if we want to kind of like break up some of the roots, as I mentioned.
Oh, what?
We have got to the...
Hold on. There we go.
If we add, I mean, you can even like just straight up just build up Hobsol if you want and have like dead bush, twisting vines could be a good place there as well, although I think it could use a little bit more red, and then we could have like twisting vines at the end here, and nothing stops us ever adding some skeleton skulls kind of just like on the outside, just like this to kind of like break up the decoration a little bit. And that is looking pretty good, I do think. I don't think that we have to add anything else. It's also worth mentioning also, by the way, that as time goes on, after we've built more and more of the build, then that's the Stone Age apparently. Then we can start knocking out parts of the actual walls, and we can replace those walls using different materials. So I'm cluttering my inventory here. I'm going to completely regret this a little bit later on, but instead of the wall just looking flat and smooth and boring, we will be adding...
Okay, so I already got the cobblestone stairs, so let's just put that in there. I'm just gonna stick that in there. Okay, so it's cobblestone stuff. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have like so much stuff in my inventory though, it's like not even funny. Anyways, what I'm gonna need to do now is I need to grab out. Okay. So let's grab this out, stick that in there. Grab this out, stick that in there. Okay, so what is it gonna need? Oh yeah, stone. Oh yeah, I need cobblestone as well. Okay. So we have a cobblestone block here. We have cobblestone stairs up here. We have a cobblestone right there. We also have it behind there like that. So let's grab the skeleton skull real quick and just stick it right there. Okay, good. Okay.
Different materials to it, so andesite, all of the different stones, some stairs here and there. We will be chopping and changing it up so it looks a little bit more dilapidated. And everywhere that we've got candles, of course, we are going to want to light those up using flint and steel. And that is another little decoration as well. So a couple of little decorations: chain and black banners. And again, I'm cluttering up the inventory. I'm so going to regret this a little bit later on. But chains, just hanging chains themselves make, I think, just kind of a cool decoration. And black banners as well, just randomly. It kind of just adds to the vibe of the place, I think.
Where do you say the chain at?
Just hang.
Okay, right here. There we go.
Chains themselves make, I think, just kind of a cool decoration, and black banners as well, just randomly. It kind of just adds to the vibe of the place. I think that it looks really, really good like this. And also, I've just thought about this as well. So not only do we have to do this to kind of like this little lower level here, but we have to move up. And we have to have a little bit of decoration up here as well. So on the second kind of like outward facing level, we want to have like podzol placed about the place, and some salt sand, and some coarse dirt kind of like just placed evenly and randomly kind of like around here. So the tracks kind of move through the middle evenly and random sand, and some coarse dirt.
Okay. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like just placed evenly and randomly kind of like around here. So the tracks kind of move through the middle of this, so if this makes sense. So the rails will move through the middle of the entrances. So around that we are able to add, you know, like twisting roots, and we are able to add, once again, kind of like a little bit of podzol here and there. We're going to want to make sure that the colours don't clash. So we want to, or at least in my opinion, you know, I mean, you feel free to add whatever you like. Where did the Neverwalk go and the Dead Bush? So yeah, so we'll probably want to change that to podzol and add some more fruit. So we want to make sure that these things don't clash too hard, and we want to grab some candles and some fire heads and some zombie heads, and again, you're just going to want to get like a little bit creative with it, so we can have a zombie head just hanging off here at the side. We can have like a little fire head here. Just again, I want it kind of placed, on the side there. We can have candles on both sides as well, so maybe even like split up a little bit better like this. Maybe even we can't really place them any further back. I mean, we could place them here, and we can just have like roots. Although I'm thinking a bit, roots are fine there. And once again, this is something easy to forget. Is do remember to keep lighting the candles. That's something. Whoops. That's something. Oh, there we go. A little delay there. That's something that I easily forget. And and we can once again have like chains, and you could even have a ghost here on this upper level if you wanted to.
Where do you see the candles? Okay, right here. Right. Yes. There we go. Okay. Oh wait, and back over here too. There we go. Okay. Salt this out with, swap the puzzle out with that, swap the candle out with the flint and steel. And swap the player head out with the chain. We're gonna stick this right there. We're gonna light that up. Okay. It's looking pretty good.
A little delay there. That's something that I easily forget. And we can once again add like chains, and you could even have a ghost here on this upper level if you wanted to. So like chains hanging down just like this to make it a little bit more. I mean, does that not look kind of cool? I kind of like it, and then like a bit more. I mean, does that not look kind of cool? I kind of like it, and then like a black banner kind of just like. I don't know if I like the black banner there in that position, to be honest with you, but you get the idea. Like, there's something nefarious about the chains. I think they do just make kind of like a cool decoration.
Wait, yeah.
Parents of children.
Other than that, I think that we're pretty good at that point in particular. So this is kind of like out of Art to Build complete, ladies and gentlemen. So this is like all the decoration that we will be adding up outside.
So let me just like stick all this stuff inside here real quick.
To push us more and more towards the inside the build. So I think that actually the last thing that we should do is we should gather the materials necessary to make the banner, because we have to write in big letters. And this is where I'm going to start regretting adding all of these extra materials to my inventory. This is where I'm going to start regretting that. We have to write Ghost Train on the outside, just in case nobody was sure what we've been making here. We have to literally write Ghost Train in big letters hanging off the front of the build. So coming back to the loop with our black banners and our black and white die. Black banner in there. The first letter is the hardest to make. So black banner in there, white die, we're making G. Vertical row of white on the right side of the banner, throw that out, put the black die in instead. Make the upper half of the banner black, throw the...
Hold up, I messed that up a little bit. Hold up. Luckily for me, I'm glad I grabbed extras, because I just messed that up. Let's just look a little something like this. There we go. No. Hold on. Nope, I need the bigger one. There we go. Oh dear. So I was gonna need that. Noted. There we go. Okay, now I got the G. Now that I have the G, I'm gonna do H, which is very easy to do H. I mean, like, very easy to do H. It's literally this. And then now I've got to do O, which is also very easy. There we go, now I have O. Now I have to do S. This is the same way as doing the O, but a little bit different, because this is S, because the only way we could actually do S. And then we gotta do T. Here we go. Perfect, now you have T. Now I'm going to keep the T and start doing R-A-I-N. Now R is going to be a little bit tricky though, I'm thinking. I think. Oh no, that's R right there. Holy shoot. How the heck did I remember how to do R? I don't know. Now we're on to A. Perfect. We have A. I. Now the way I do my eye. Now the way I do my eyes though, is I do it like this. This is the way I make my eyes though, right? Like an actual capital letter I that I've learned from school. Then we have to do N. Which is very easy though. It's like this. Perfect. Nicely done. Okay. Now I can finally get rid of that. And then we can... Okay, so now that we have the ghost train stuff though, dealt with.
Put the white die back in there. Horizontal row of white across the bottom. I don't think we ever need the black die again. The next letter is H, so vertical row on the left.
Okay. So let's grab all the letters. Okay, so perfect. There we go. Ghost train. Now I don't need these banners anymore, which I'm glad I don't need anymore. Now I just realized I don't have a worker in the for the ghost train that I just realized, so I gotta spawn him in real quick. Ooh, I gotta do is the potions. Even though I was like hoping for someone with an eye patch, but I get what I get and I don't get upset.
H-O-S-T, leave a gap. I can't. There we go. Leave a gap of 1, and then T-R-A-I-N. Perfect. Ghost train. That is absolutely perfect, and that is pretty much the entire outside of the build complete. So we are able to dump all of these materials. We will never need these again, and except maybe for the black banners actually. And we can get to work on the rest of the ghost train, the more technical part, and arguably the more fun part. With a bunch of the exterior decoration complete, it's now time for us to focus on the inside. So this actually means that we get to place some rails and some of the actual track, and we can kind of get this thing turned into a nice functional ghost train instead of like a cool haunted house, which it is currently. So, I want you to begin by placing a rail right in the center of this archway, which is going to be our exit. So this rail wants to extend forwards and cut across the front of the actual house itself,
like this.
And it wants to lead into the center of the entrance archway, so pretty much entering how it exits. So inside of the actual, I'll refer to this as the haunted house. Inside of the haunted house itself, we are just going to add a few sets of torches. It's really dark and atmospheric in here, but
not really for
that's
me.
not something that
I
we're
can see
looking
perfectly
for.
fine.
We're actually trying to figure out where we are going to be placing blocks. So inside of the actual haunted house itself, first of all, we want to add a wall that cuts off the exit from the rest of the build. We drop down into this point, we don't want it connected in any other way, so we're going to add a hard wall right here, cutting off the exit from the entire rest of the haunted house. We also want to add a wall that cuts this area in half as well. So we want to have a row of 3 as we enter the house. So 1, 2, 3, and then cut this up using a row of stone bricks. So this is going to half this entire area. So we're going to snake up and down these hallways in our minecart, and it just makes things a bit creepier. So instead of like just it being straightforward, we'll kind of like go this way, and then we'll enter here, and we'll come back on ourselves. And it
like
just adds a little bit of claustrophobia, and it just adds a little bit of atmosphere to the place. It's kind of cool. It feels very windy and bigger than it is. So now that we have this wall end, we are going to create an archway. So we'll leave a gap of 1, destroy 1, 2, 3, 2 rows up, and then similarly to what we've done quite a few times already, we'll add upside down stone stairs just in the top corner.
Okay, I'm also going to grab my detector rails too, though.
We can now feed the rails through the middle of the first hallway here. This is the first room. We can feed the rails through the first room.
And also grab all the rest of this stuff out. Let's also grab the skulls again. Pause that for right now. And I'll also grab the armor stand. And that's everything I need, right? Oh wait, that's right though, I need a creeper head too. That's right, I need a creeper head. There we go. And I was gonna need a wooden skeleton skull too. There we go. Because, and you're wondering though, why am I using a creeper head though? Because I'm replacing all the dispensers with the creepers though. Because in my opinion though, I don't want the minecart to break. And the way he does it though is there could be a chance the minecart will break. And even though he did test run it himself though, I'm still not taking that risk. So what I'm going to be doing though is I'm going to be swapping out the minecart, the dispensers with note blocks. In the note blocks though, will make it pretend that there is actually a creeper inside blowing up, which is what I love. I love to give a little bit of that kind of jump scare, rather than like a different type of jump scare.
Turn the corner, and then we can extend inwards towards the middle. So we're going to extend the rails up the centre a little bit, but then we're going to curve around and hook this back wall, and then extend towards the back. At this point, we ascend to the next floor. So, in the corner here, we're going to leave this corner block alone, and then destroy, I think, 1, 2, 3 blocks will do it. On the first floor up here, we want to actually, we'll have a curve like this. So, in the corner, we'll have a rail, and then 1 here and 1 here, so kind of like a nice little bend. And then we want to have a set of rails that lead down to the ground like this. So we'll push a bunch of rails up here, up this diagonal row of stone bricks, just like this. And we want to kind of create we don't really want to have like a bunch of like open walls. We kind of want to make it feel a bit claustrophobic, a little bit like shut in. It kind of just adds to the atmosphere of the place. So instead of having this area exposed, we'll build up a wall up the side, and we will be shot up here onto the next floor. So we do have plans for all of these, by the way, but we're just getting the base tracks laid down. So moving up to the next level up here, we are going to want to cut off this area. So this wants to be a room all unto itself, and we might have to dig down an additional row. So we are going to add a wall right next to this window here, and we can still go up and down, that's perfectly fine. And we also want to further reduce the amount of space.
Okay.
We'll go up and down, that's perfectly fine. And we also want to further reduce the...
Huh? I'm a little confused right now. Hold on. I am a little confused right now, because if I do it here, you can't get up and down. So I'm just going to have to leave that open there. Because I don't know how the heck he did it, though, to the point where, hold on. There we go. Unless I didn't... I did that on the wrong spot. And I know I didn't. Well, I'm just a little confused right now. Hold on. Let me just go back a little bit.
But we're just getting the base tracks laid down. So moving up to the next level will be...
Okay, so there is a turn here, but the problem is if I stick it... Oh no, wait, actually... Yeah, that works now. What the heck? Hold on. How is it? Hold on. I am so confused right now.
This could be a room all unto itself, and we might have to dig down.
Oh wait, I was thinking it there, not there. Oh my god.
Right next to this window here.
No wonder I was overthinking it.
Still go up and down. That's perfectly fine. And we also want to further reduce the amount of space in here, because once again, it just feels a bit better if we're a little bit more constrained. So we only want to have a couple of rows, so like we've got the track and then the road right next to the track. So we're going to administer a false wall here, so just like this. And that's going to be absolutely perfect. So a little bit of a false wall. The rails will extend all the way across to the front of the build. It will come through, and we will be led in towards the center of, into the center room here. So, this center room is a little bit of a fake out because it looks from the outside as if you're going to just like, you're coming straight into just like a normal room. But we actually want to add a ceiling to this area. So the ceiling is added directly
Oh, I added it already.
line, so we are creating a separate room
I was one step ahead somehow.
all by itself. So we are creating a ceiling using these stone bricks. And this is literally just as soon as the archway ends at the top, just above the stairs, we have the stone bricks like this. We want to seal up this window. First of all, it might be another good idea as well to add some stone bricks here on the left and right, just like this, just to kind of like turn this into. Oh, and also, I know that I keep changing. We're going to add black concrete all across the flank to like black out these windows at the back, so we don't want to be able to see into these. This wants to be very, very dark. And in doing that, we can now split this room in half using a row of stone bricks. So these want to be completely separate. So we have like one empty room, another empty room just next to each other. And the rails, as soon as the rails cross the threshold into this room, we want to start ascending upward into the attic. So we will have to destroy a couple of blocks here, and then we will be fed into the attic, and we will...
Wyman gives me the best shine and the best reflection.
There we
Your
go.
kitchen says a lot about you.
Nobody can resist.
There we go. Perfect.
We'll want to exit the same way. So if we come down here and we place a rail here, straight in the middle of this archway, we can have an equivalent set of stone
Wait a
bricks
minute.
that
Huh?
leads us, well, not
Oh wait, hold on.
kind of like
I gotta
down,
bump this
actually,
back a
so
block. Hold
that
up.
will lead us down. And the rails, I do believe, are going
Gotta bump this
to,
back a
I want
block.
to make sure that I got this right. So the rails will come one
Right.
row inwards, and by the way, of course, like just connecting these. So
Oh no, I was
straight in the
right.
middle here, into the attic.
I was
It will
right.
come, we want to have 2 rows at the back that we are able to place stuff in and add decoration, and again, we'll just add it.
Okay. So I was right. There we go. There we go. Why can't I get up? There we go, finally. There we go. So it looks a little something like this then, right?
Torch hero there.
Yep,
We
like
will
that.
have 2 rows at the back, and we'll have a bunch of these rows at the front. And it might also be a good idea to add some black concrete to the ceiling of this, to once again kind of like make it, we don't want it to open and airy, like it wants to, I don't know how to describe it other than it just adds to the atmosphere of that you're a bit closed in and there's a lot happening at once. This is going to go by quite quickly once we do hit this point in time, so the rails will feed through here, down here, into this last room, so they'll come across the front, straight through into this entrance, they'll come all the way towards this back wall, we'll leave it one row away from the wall, we'll have 1, 2, 3 rails, and then we'll drop, I mean, maybe even just 1, 2, shall we make it 1, 2, and then a couple of rows here. We want to create a false wall leading across the back, and we will drop down here, so we'll have to add a couple of rails to make sure that the mine carts I think drop pretty vertically, but it's okay, we'll just drop down onto here, we'll have an extra rail, and behind this and to the side of this we are going to have a little ooze pit. So now that we've kind of connected all of these things together, and by the way, we're missing something, so whilst we're here we might as well do it properly. We are going to place a couple of campfires. So we already have enough space, so a couple of campfires in the ground here, right? With some, actually I think we have to dig another row, don't we? Yeah, we do. So the campfires will have to be built an additional row down like this, but the lime concrete surrounding it is at the right level, and then we simply just want to place, I might be wrong about the campfires there. Yeah, no. The campfires have to be dug an additional row down, right? No, I'm being silly. So, yeah, they're dug at the right height. So we want to have, and we can kind of like, it doesn't have to be completely glass. Maybe. Oh, that's right. So the campfires, where the campfires are, we do not want to have glass above them. So the campfires just sit below the lime concrete on top, nothing on top of that, because otherwise that will stop the smoke, and we want it to look as though that it's like oozing and bubbling and it's something we definitely don't want to be falling into, and then we just want glass surrounding it, and this is kind of the end. And we can decorate this a little bit further later. We can have maybe like the torch decoration that we've used kind of like a few times already, but that is where we exit. We will decorate that a little bit later. Let's work on some of the redstone features of the build. So when I say redstone features, like that, I don't know what I'm doing with redstone, guys. There might even be better ways of doing what I'm doing, but I'll just show you how I've got this set up, and feel free to change things around. So we will need powered rails, redstone torch, detector rails, redstone comparator, redstone repeater, redstone dust, dispenser, piston,
I forgot about the redstone dust. Yoink.
Redstone lamp, and we'll leave it at that for now. Right here, where this grey concrete is where the actual ghost train is going to start. So I'm going to have a powered rail, and underneath this we're going to stick down redstone torch, and this is unfortunate, we'll leave the lamp for a second. We'll have a torch in the ground underneath, and this is where the first powered rail will be. The next powered rail will be where we have other grey concrete, so redstone torch, stone brick above it, powered rail. That is where we will have the next powered rail. This should lead us through all the way into the next powered rail will be where we have this archway here, so kind of like digging once again down, torch, stone brick, powered rail above it. The next powered rail that we want to place, we are going to have where we start this ascent here. So we should be able to just dig in the ground just underneath this, redstone torch, stone brick. So that is where, so this will keep us at a decent speed all the way throughout the build. So we'll have one powered rail here. We might even chuck another one just up at the top here as well. So another powered rail, so that will involve us, unfortunately we're destroying some of the track as well. So another powered rail just as we hit the top, just to keep the speed nice and level. So we won't need too many more powered rails. So one here, and then we are going to hide one here as well. So actually here, where we have where we exit this part of the build, we'll have one powered rail here, and then one powered rail.
Allergies? Your fast, powerful allergy relief plus no brain.
Here as well, so just as we hit up here, and we can even just literally chuck the torch on the side because it just looks like something that would be part of the actual build. So that is it for the powered rails, ladies and gentlemen, because the powered rails will take us right up here, and then
we're going to lever
drop
2.
down, and momentum will take us the rest of the distance. Let's make sure that that is okay. Let's make sure that that is a sufficient amount of powered rails. That
Yeah,
that will
I agree. I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it as well. Oh yeah, I tell you, I have the minecart inside of one of the chests.
We're already up in the minecart. The powered rails can take us through the first room, up through the second room. We're on in the third room. We forgot to light this, but a simple torch should do. So if we just hit a torch here, that will power the rail, that's perfectly fine. This is why we test things, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that these things are working properly. So that is nice and powered.
Perfect.
This will take us up through here into the attic. We'll get shot straight down through here. Momentum will take us
So let's take a minecart inside of here.
We'll land on these rails. We might need another rail just here, or that might be a nice logical place to leave it, and we can just leave a bunch of minecarts in the actual chest here. So it might be good actually that we do end here, but if you do want to make sure that it will take you all the way to the very end, you can either put something so that this minecart, so you'll get shoved directly onto here, or like I'm quite happy for it to actually stop, because otherwise it's quite easy to kind of like keep continuing around, and then the minecart gets slipped onto the powered rail, and then it keeps going round and round and round and round, and you've got to like chase it and catch it. So I'm quite happy to leave it like that. So that's cool. So all of the powered rails, we literally, you know, from the start to the finish. I kind of want to try that one more time. Let's try it. We get so now that we've done that, we can start adding some more of the redstone features to the actual track as well. So let's start with the first room and move our way through. So in the first room, the first thing that we are going to add, and you can get rid of this, we won't need the torches anymore. We need I don't think we need the torches, no. So detector rails, we will need detector rails, pistons, and also dispensers. I said that in opposite order, but dispensers and pistons. Redstone comparator, redstone repeater, redstone dust, redstone lamp. Absolutely perfect. These are the things that we need, and we'll probably accidentally destroy some trapping stuff, so we'll grab the rails and the stone bricks. So, somewhere a third into the first room, maybe as we turn this corner here, we're going to destroy this block, the one underneath it. Actually, we don't need to destroy the one underneath it. We'll destroy this block, replace it with a detector rail, right of this, destroy this, and then a dispenser facing upwards next to it. And in every single dispenser, we will place one of two things. Either a fire charge, or I guess one of three things. Fire charge, arrows, or bats. Here's the thing. Bats are very cool. They're really cool to put in the dispensers. However, unless you are willing to round up and kill the bats after you have a certain amount of them, I would stick to fire charges or arrows, or use bats sparingly. It does not take you very long. So, first of all, detector rail, dispenser, perfect. Another third or so of the way in, we will have another detector rail, but underneath this detector rail, we need to place a dust, and then stone brick, detector rail back on top. Next to this, we're going to destroy this stone brick, and then next to where the dust will be, we're going to dig down one, and then we will have a piston. So the dust is right next to the piston. That's dug an additional row down, and on top of this we will be placing an armor stand to put something on top of it. So it's a nice little jump scare. As we move through here into the next room, so not only in this room do we want to have a little jump scare, but we are also going to add the flashing strobe light effect, which I'm not a fan of in real life, but it's not too bad in Minecraft. So, if you've ever been into a scare maze or a haunted house, you'll know exactly what this is like. We have got to tear up a decent amount of the floor here, so leaving a gap of one between this jump scare here. We also need levers, so we are going to place a lever in the ground, and we are going to make a really simple redstone clock. So, extending out from the lever, we want to place a comparator facing this way.
Okay, well, first things first, though, is I gotta add in the jump scare section right here, though, first, real quick. Okay, so I added the zombie head already, so next time we're gonna add in a skeleton head this time. No, I already got armor stands. Skeleton head here this time. There we go, perfect. Okay. There we go. stick a comparator here.
With a repeater next to it, then a redstone dust, extend the dust this way, and then we want to place another redstone repeater
Like
facing
this?
back towards the comparator, redstone dust to hook it back up, and if you activate the comparator and the lever, then you will have a nice simple... We've got to take this.
Okay, dokie. Okay. Now, hold on. I want to see something real quick, though. Like,
Clock. And all we have to do is on the end chuck a lamp. So the lamp, I want it to just be set just one row under the ground here, so like this. And if we activate this lever, maybe we have to make this.
huh?
I mean,
Oh, it's not.
that should be
Wait,
fine,
it's not
actually.
connected.
We
Hold
have it a
on.
little bit lower because the effect will be.
Why is it not
different a little
connected?
bit. So we just want to have.
There. Oh, wow, that was
So
bright.
We have less torches around. This is a much bigger deal. There we go. So
Brr,
we have a nice
that was bright.
light effect in this room, and it's just kind of cool. So like with the jump scares and what have you, you come into the room. This room is relatively dark. The less and less torches we have, obviously, the more ambient and cool this is. And there we go. It just creates kind of like a nice cool effect. And so moving up to the first floor hallway, we are going to add a couple of contraptions. The first thing that I'm going to have is once again a jump scare, because it's kind of my favourite. Leaving a gap of 1 between this powered rail here and the ground, I'm going to dig down and I'm going to place a piston. So the piston has to be set 2 rows down from the rail. Underneath this rail here, I'm going to have to place a stone brick or something to place redstone dust on, and then above it will be a detector rail, so that will trip that piston. As we move further along, we are going to try and find the separating... Actually, it actually doesn't matter at all, so we'll leave a few rows here, so maybe literally a few, so 1, 2, 3, and then we want to place a dispenser, like this, and then a detector rail. So literally just right next to it, we'll just leave a gap of 3 and then that'll be perfect.
Okay. Now, this is actually where things get a bit complicated, though. Okay, so let me head back down to the first floor real quick. Over this way. So, you see how high this is, though? And you see that right there? Yeah, I need to fix this. Completely fix this. So, as the rail goes there, what I need, oh, I need to stick it like right above here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add in an extra roof right up here. To where it's like really claustrophobic up here. Like so. But that means I gotta do the same thing to this side too, but the problem is I only need it for like one spot. So I'm not gonna do it to the entire roof though, because it'll be kind of pointless just to do it to the entire roof. I only need it for like right here. This is the only spot that I need it. Well, these 2 spots are here, so let me just do a little bit of this, like so. And then I'll destroy the rest of the roof. Because the thing is, though, you can't, you won't really be able to really notice it, though, unless it's like right here, though, as well, though, come to think of it, as you can see. But it's all going to be worth it, though, in the end. Just trust me on this. Because we need to stick that there. Well, first things first is we got to stick the redstone dust there. No, stick that there. Oh no, it's gotta go down an extra block then. I just realized. And it's gotta go like directly right there. So I can cover it up. Oh shoot. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So now I'm gonna come all the way back down to here and fix it again. Right? Yes. Yes I do. Because it's like directly right here and I don't want it right there. So let me just destroy all this. Right, real quick. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to create it like right over here though instead. like this, right there. Now, even though you can see it though when you walk in though, well, not really, like when you're like right in though, you can definitely see it though. I have a bit of an idea for that though, a little bit. Not really though, because of how complicated it is though. So unless if I bump this back 2 though, which I'm probably gonna want to do though. Oh yeah, that's what I did. I bumped it back 2. I bumped it back all the way out to here. And I kept forgetting that I need to bring this down an extra block, but it's going to be directly on top of the rail. And I don't want it to be directly on top of the rail, because then you can't really get through. Which is where this is going to become tricky, though. Here, I got a better idea. Let me destroy all of this. I'll replace that back. Okay. Maybe if I do it like on the wall, though, maybe. Ooh, that gives me a bit of an idea, actually. Hold on. If I do it on the wall, then I can make it look like there's like a speaker. Genius. That's a genius. Never mind. There's a piston there. Unless, though, hold on. Unless I actually only have one thing here, and it's not this, and it's not a piston, and it's actually just a jump scare. There we go. So we're going to add the rest of dust here. We're going to add this there, right? No, down a block. Wait. No. Right? There we go. Now I think they can also see the creeper head too, though, I'm thinking, right? Yes, they can. Okay, so, which means I'm going to need to kind of make this more claustrophobic a little bit. So, just like around this turn here, that will be a little bit claustrophobic. Just around this turn. Which means I kind of have to do the same thing right here, though, as well, though. But I'm not going to do it right there. Right there, though, I'm not. I'm really not. It's gonna have to do. It's gonna have to do for right now. Anyways, now that this area though is finished, right? Yes. Now that this area is finished, and I mean finished, unless I add like another wall here, then I can technically raise it up. Come to think of it, right? I mean, I could. But then it's not gonna sound right though. Then it's not gonna work. Oh well.
Right, this arrow and dispense.
Okay. Well, technically, since I'm only having one thing in here though, rather than 2 things than I originally planned though. But it is what it is.
The way breed put we it doesn't then which is some arrows or have to just and we so active here. So this is quite a pivotal part of the ride because again it's kind of a fake out. You think that you're going to be going straight, but like get shot straight up into an attic. Or at least from the outside that would appear that way. Not until you get to this point in the ride, unless you rode it before, you don't really know what's happening. So, up here we are going to have 3 sets of dispensers. So, the first dispenser is going to be right here, so just as we enter, and one on the opposite side. So, I'm thinking like a bat. We'll probably put bats up here. So, maybe a bat. In the middle, we'll take this opportunity for another jump scare. Because why not? And
well, it's going to be hidden anyway, though. So
just have to place dust, won't we? So as we enter, we'll release a bat. We'll have a jump scare, and then fire as we go down. So that's how we'll work with that. We need a detect rail.
Then we'll do another creeper right here.
And we want to place one here. So as we enter, as we leave, and right in the middle, we'll set all of those up a little bit later. That's perfect. So moving into this last room, we are first here, here.
Jump scare in like the
we have
dead
Orange,
center.
And we want to place one here. So
Here.
as we enter, as we leave, and right in the middle, we'll set all of those up a little bit later. That's perfect. So moving into this last room, we are first of all going to replace this end rail here with a detector rail. Place a dust next to it on the right. Extend it one row back towards the wall, and then hook it up.
Okay. Now I'm going to add in the armor stand. And finally the wither skeleton skull. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now, I actually have another idea though, actually. Not really. So I'm going to get rid of the skeleton skull, and the zombie skull, and the no block. And the creeper head, and the piston. There we go. Okay. So now that this area is like all finished up here though. Now, even though he did add something like over here though, I'm actually not going to be able to do that because, well, for starters though, I don't, like I said, I don't want the minecart to break. So the plan is though now I could add like something over here though, but I'm not going to because of how complicated it's going to be though to do that. Now, one thing for certain though is what I want to do is I want to grab out the black concrete real quick and grab out a black banner. And the reason why though is because I plan on like closing off these windows here, like this. Now, the reason why I'm using the black concrete though is because so I can like kind of like patch this in just a little bit though, like this. Not there. There. And I don't want to stick the banners though on top of the tracks though, in case if it like makes it like look like funky though, in my opinion. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing back here for both of these windows. Now, the reason why I'm using banners though is because just because there's stairs here though, doesn't mean like no, unless there's slabs, doesn't mean it'll actually stay fully covered. Like so. Okay.
Up to a dispenser, which will be overlooking the hole that we will inevitably drop down into. And then in the back of the room, we want to destroy a hole through the false wall. And in the very back corner here, we are going to place a lever, redstone comparator, repeater, dust to the right. Then we're going to start coming back on ourselves with a repeater, then a dust. We are then going to extend this end dust here, back.
Good. But then I have the extra stone. Got then I kept the stone bricks in my inventory. There we go. Okay, then a comparator, redstone, repeater, bam, 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 bam.
Back to the wall, and we are going to destroy this wall. This is ultimately going to be turned into a redstone, so that is perfect. And then we are going to have a ghost above this, or behind this. We'll see when we get there. So, if we activate this, and then activate the lever, that will create a...
Okay, so let's grab out this stuff here.
And we'll just leave this open for now, because I don't want to leave this running, because it, I don't know about you, but sometimes the flashing light kind of annoys me.
Also grab all of this stuff.
But with all of the technical stuff done, I think that we are just going to decorate this room, because why not? Why not start the story at the end? So,
okay.
in this room, we are going to need a spruce trapdoor, player head, stone cutter. We'll also need white stained glass, white banner, the other white banner. We need both of the ghost banners. Basically, we need chains, black banners, and then we'll need like redstone dust and red carpet. So over here on the left, we are going to make a little table made out of spruce trapdoors, and that just begins with us flipping a spruce trapdoor upwards, place a trapdoor behind, and then another one. We'll form it into a little table, and on the table we'll have a stone cutter and a player head. The head specifically wants to be facing this way on the table.
Hold on.
We are going to have a ghost above and behind this little redstone here, so the white glass will go above and in front, and then we'll place all of the banners around just like this. You could even leave, like, because this keeps everywhere quite hidden, if you wanted to turn this contraption on and off, you could just kind of like leave that open, although I guess it probably wouldn't matter too much because you're not going to be spending loads of time in this room, so there's no reason for you
Oh,
to be able
and I
to
forgot
get
the player
to
head.
that level whatsoever.
Darn it.
So the rest of the room we're just going to decorate with chains just kind of like hanging
And
from the
I forgot the
ceiling.
player head.
So it's kind of up to you how many of these you want to use and in what sort of variety. A couple of black banners strewn about the place, a couple of redstone dust to kind of like look like blood. We're going to use a little bit of red carpet as well to help kind of like exacerbate that effect.
Get rid of that
So I
lava.
think that looks pretty good. That's looking quite nice.
Okay, so we're gonna have a black banner here. Oh, I didn't know that was even possible. Then the chain comes down like this. Then it's like right here too. And also right here. Okay, so we're gonna need to add that. We're gonna need to add that there. We're gonna add that there. There's another one like right there, though, right?
Like variety. A couple of black banners strewn about the place.
Nope.
A couple of redstone dust
There we
to
go.
kind of like look like blood. We're going to use a little bit of red carpet as well to help kind of like exacerbate that effect. So I think that looks pretty good. That's looking quite nice. And all we're going to do is just in this back room here, and I believe we'll have to do this elsewhere. We'll have to grab this, and we're just going to grab black concrete, seal up these two little windows here.
Oh, not what I thought it
And
was.
then we'll seal up this wall. I guess I'll leave this running, and then we'll seal up this wall.
Okay,
put
so
the
I got
windows
black
down
concrete
here,
again.
And I think this is like a cool little room to end it on, and we'll just have to load that up with our arrows a little bit later. As we drop down into here, I want to add... Nessie's built different. That's why it only runs on Duracell. Oh,
Okay. There we go. Perfect.
I'm
stone
considering
brick.
adding the same sort of like light fixture that we've used a few times already.
Oh, what the?
Which is
Oh,
the
whoops, I forgot to
wall.
click that.
The lantern on top, the solar lantern specifically.
There we
and
go.
Signs around. I don't know whether I like that or not down here. I think it is quite cool. And you might...
Okay, so now I did. Okay, so let's destroy that chest. I don't need that chest anymore. Let's actually grab this out, and this out, because I forgot to. Oh, and the flint and steel. I almost forgot about the flint and steel too. Give me that flint and steel. It's just for the candle. It's just for the candles. And the fact that I completely forgot about that too, though, is really sad. Okay, so we're gonna stick it here, stick it up top, and signs all around it like this. Perfect. Okay.
Signs around. I don't know whether I like that or not down here. I think it is quite cool. And you might even find that you like a couple of like lime carpets, like kind of spread about the place a little bit. Maybe literally just a couple looks quite cool. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I really like how that's turned out. And in doing that, ladies and gentlemen, we are now actually going to head all the way back to the beginning here. And it's now time for us just to decorate around the track and load up all of the little gadgets and mechanisms that we've created. And then we'll kind of be done. Okay, so starting right at the beginning, we are just going to destroy some of the blocks in the ground and just replace them with Podzol or Soul Sand.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. So, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick everything else, like all this stuff, though, like, inside of here, though. Well, just to see what else I'm gonna need. Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna need, like, this stuff here. I'm also gonna need, like, the candle, the flint and steel, the player head. You know, I'll use the player head. And I don't know why I have 2 black concretes. I thought I got rid of it by accident, but I guess not. I'm also gonna grab a more player head, the zombie head and the skeleton head, real quick. There we go. Okay. So, do I have those two? Wait, hold on. I don't have the. I need this back. Got it. Okay. So I have that back. Now, the thing is, though, I have to leave this wall here, though. I have to. Or else it's gonna make it look funky. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so from the jump scare though, it's like this, right?
Or sand, or coaster, or whatever it is you might like to place there. And we'll of course place.
Oh wait, it's
vines,
3 here.
fungus, some roots, wherever we feel necessary, just to kind of like set the mood a little bit. At the